Hi guys, it's Irish Lorque from St. Camillus de Lelis, and I'm here to discuss to you about guns, for peace or for war. Guns are one of the most powerful weapons a man had ever created. It is made out of steel, and inside of it are bullets that can come out with just one pull of the trigger. Bullets can travel at an average speed of 1,700 miles per hour that carries force whose purpose is to transfer that energy to a person's body or to its target. That energy causes all the injuries sustained, whether directly or in secondary manner. The Small Arms Survey 2007 provides an estimate of total numbers of known civilian-owned guns in a country per 100 people of that country. This number says nothing about which percentage of the population owns those guns. The figures do not also directly represent the number of guns available, since in some countries, such as Israel, a significant number of civilians have government-owned military guns in their possessions. The ownership rate reported is the average estimate from the largest civilian firearms arsenal of 178 countries. The United States is ranked for the highest gun ownership rate unambiguously. Yemen, based on the margin of error, may rank anywhere between 2nd and 18th. Switzerland, anywhere between 2nd and 16th. While in the Philippines, there are 4.7 guns per 100 residents. The ownership of firearms in the Philippines is regulated by the Firearms and Explosives Division of the Philippine National Police. In order to possess a firearm in the Philippines, a person must be at a minimum age of 21 years old and pass a background check to be issued a possession license. They must also take a firearm training and safety course. Any history of mental illness and/or domestic violence within the individual or the family will cause an applicant to have his request rejected. By law, Filipinos can carry pistols and handguns in the public via the acquiring of a permit to carry. Originally, Filipinos were permitted to own only one long firearm and one short firearm, but Executive Order EO-194 issued under the Estrada government listed limits on gun ownership and allowed citizens to own as many guns they want, including assault rifles. Qualifications to carry guns were set forward by Republic Act 10591. People seeking to carry a gun may apply for a permit to carry, or PTC. Qualified person may apply for PTC if he or she is under actual threat or is imminent danger due to the nature of his or her profession, occupation, or business. The law specifies professionals who are considered to be in imminent danger due to the nature of his or her profession, occupation, or business. They include lawyers of members of the Philippine Bar, certified public accountants, accredited media practitioners, cashiers, bank tellers, priests, ministers, rabbis, and imams, physicians, nurses, and engineers. Businessmen who, by nature of their business is undertaking are exposed to high risk of being targets of criminal elements are also allowed to apply for PTC. The PTC is granted based on the discretion of the issuing authority. But remember, having a gun does not always guarantee safety. Some of the gun owners have the mentality that because they have or carry a firearm, they are somehow protected from bad guys and violence. Others also feel too much pride in owning a gun that they can easily put it out in public to display power, which eventually can cost an innocent life. Keep in mind that carrying a firearm without self-defense training could result to a disaster. Studies have shown that unintentional shootings are 4 times as common as occurrence of a gun used in legitimate house defense situations. Based on statistics, a gun owner is actually more likely to shoot someone by accident than to shoot a home invader. Having a gun in the house also increases chances of becoming the victim of a firearm-related homicide or suicide in the home. Researchers have found that this holds true regardless of the type of gun person owns, how they store it, or how many guns they own. Finally, if there are children, the gun owner should take into account how the presence of the firearm in the house might affect their safety. Most gun-owning parents take precautions to keep their children from finding and handling the family's firearm. However, despite these efforts, children often handle guns in home without their parents' knowledge. In one study, 22% of the parents who believe that their children never handled a gun into home were contradicted by the children themselves. Further, when a child or teen is killed by a firearm, the gun that killed them comes from their own home fully 72% of the time. Given the information provided above, it is evident that people would want to use guns for various reasons. However, I strongly believe that this should be used responsibly. It may help giving peace temporarily, but it may also trigger war or violence.